If you ever wondered what the weather might have been like to flood the earth and propel Noah to build an ark, you have to look no further than Cary, North Carolina. It's a wet and soggy one here at WakeMed Soccer Park as we are set to bring to you Group B action featuring Cagliari Calcio and City Soccer FC. Group B is jam-packed as each team has a 1-1 record, so this is a game of significant importance for both sides taking the field today. Hello again, everybody. My name is Christian Philemon, better known as Philly, and I am dressed in my rubber ducky ensemble, soaked to the bone, standing near puddles, and no one needs to tell me I'm in deep, deep trouble. Now, of course, I say that tongue-in-cheek. When you live in Southern California and see a little bit of rain, it's quite the joy. We're going to go over a couple of housekeeping items with you before we talk about our two competitors today. TST, it is dynamite, folks, the soccer tournament. It's a 7v7 side featuring two 20-minute halves of a running clock. Now, that running clock will only stop if there is an injury on the pitch or the official whistles for a timeout. There are no throw-ins, no offside, no slide tackles, and the best part of all, no ties. This game will end with a game winner, as will every single game at the TST tournament. Now that we've got that out of the way, let's introduce our competitors to you. Representing City Soccer FC, they're the first with a 1-1 record. This is a team named after an indoor facility that was established in 2010 in South Florida. This is their second year in the TST. They competed in Group J last year where they finished 0-3, but you could say they've greatly improved, learned from that experience, and they're now in Group B a year later with a 1-1 record, going up against a team that has ties to Serie A. Cagliari Calcio, a Serie A side with a history dating back to 1920. This is their second year in the TST as well. They had a different name. It was a conglomeration of two teams, Como and Cagliari, and they made it all the way to the round of 16 where they lost to Newtown Pride by a score of 3-2. Now, Newtown Pride will be on this pitch later tonight for the final game on Field 4, and we're certainly looking forward to that one. Your starting keepers on each side for Cagliari be number 1, Giuseppe Ciocci, and in between the sticks for City Soccer, number 1, Anderson Vera. A player that I want to keep an eye on, and y'all should as well, for Cagliari would be number 10, Nicolas Viola. Played with Cagliari on 64 occasions, and then all throughout Italy, had a good 106 games and 21 goals during his time at Benevento. So that's the player to keep your eye on, number 10. As far as City Soccer is concerned, well, they certainly have quite a few players to keep an eye on, but Edson Brofheid is the one that I want you all to focus on, wearing the number 3. Brofheid played for Bayern Munich for a limited amount of time, competed over in Celtic, played at Lazio, and more importantly, for the Dutch national team. So Edson wearing number 3, the guy to focus on for City Soccer. And Viola, Nicolas Viola for Cagliari. Now, what I'll tell you about City Soccer, where they mildly won me over, is they were walking towards the pitch. They were singing Rockin' Robin as well as Who Let the Dogs Out, so they got my blood going. And this is my 5th straight call right here, so I got to shout them out. That was a lot of fun. Now, as I mentioned, this is a tightly compact group with every single team in it 1-1 with their record. Now, Cagliari, 5 goals for, which keeps them on top of this league, but that could change, of course, as they are in a group competing with Hoosier Army and Cardinal Legacy, which is an alumni group of soccer players from Stanford. Hoosiers versus Cardinals, that should be a fun one. So this is the final day of the group stages, and both of these teams with a chance to move forward. Cagliari's first game against the Hoosier Army ended with a result of 3-1 in favor of Cagliari. They dropped a heartbreaker to Cardinal Legacy, 3-2. The header in and the save. A very close call. As number 9 Kingston Mutandwa almost headed one into the back of the net, but making the save. Anderson Vera. Now, we told you about how Cagliari competed. Could this be the first one? Vera with another save. Goes off and past the touchline. City Soccer lost 2-1 to Cardinal Legacy. And then they got skunked by the Hoosier Army by a score of 3-0. So that's been the games for these two teams. Shot saved. Vera being tested consistently here to open things up. If you're wondering where Cagliari is, folks, the capital is Sardinia. Very beautiful country. Or, I'm sorry, a very beautiful city in a wonderful country. Now the Serie A side finished 15th. So just a little bit of background on them. So few rules changes that have occurred this season at the TST, 3 of them to be precise. No more than 3 players are allowed in the substitution box. Only the captain can address the official in times of controversial occurrences. And there's no freezing the ball. It has to be advanced every 8 seconds. In this case, and it's very imperative to know in this case, the top 2 teams in each group will get to advance to the round of 32, but additionally, the top 8 teams not finishing in the top 2 in their groups can advance. Third-place finishers that do advance will have that opportunity on the basis of a number of things. First, record in group play. Second, goal differential. Third, total goals. And fourth, a penalty shootout. And those third-place finishers will be ranked as similarly as that. A save made by Ciocci. City Soccer going on the attack. So as I jokingly talked about how this was the weather that Noah saw when he built his ark, it's starting to let down a little bit, which is fantastic because we were getting soaked. And soaked as well is an understatement of a term. A wonderful display of sportsmanship between both sides here. This is game number... No, that information isn't necessarily correct, but we're more than beyond the halfway point. 134 total games to be played at the TST. TST tournament will conclude on the 9th, where the winner will walk away with a bag of money. 7 figures. 7 figures, I should say. This is game number 73. I do thank our production staff for clarifying that. Had a squirrel moment for a second. And we should see some fireworks, some competition, some aggressive and hard-nosed play here, as 2 teams have the opportunity to advance, looking for the second win in the group stage. City Soccer nearly threading that through. On the run is Cagliari. Shot saved! Another tremendous save by Anderson Vera. Let's take a look at his background real quick. Played in Primera A in Colombia with Atlético Nacional. That is one of Colombia's biggest teams. And he's got a lot of incredible knowledge competing there. City Soccer has a lot of players that have competed in interesting levels. You can look at number 14, Jeff Machad, for example, competing in the Major Arena Soccer League. Got players that competed in the USL. Players that have competed, a significant amount of players that have completed, with teams in Colombia and all throughout South America. Beautiful run into the box. The shot saved, but Alessandro Vinciguerra, who plays for Cagliari's Primavera U19, had a spectacular play cutting in. As we're taking a look down on the pitch, it looks like keeper Anderson Vera is down on the ground. So the official is holding up for a moment. No indication to bring the trainers on. For Vinciguerra, the gentleman who you just saw slicing into the box, also is featured for Italy's U17. So our public address announcer confirming that we're just under 12 minutes. And where has 8 minutes gone by? Felt like we just got started. As that pass in off the mark. Now, this is a small-sided pitch, as I'm sure you are well aware. 65 yards long, 45 yards wide. The goals, 6.5 feet high, 18.5 feet wide. So a much smaller target than a lot of these players are accustomed to. They're playing with a size 5 Mitre soccer ball. Mitre, the official sponsor and the official ball provider of the soccer tournament. So it has the tendency to sail if you hit it hard enough. There we see number 3, Edson Brofheid. He's had a tremendous career. An interesting story, playing at some of the highest levels. Not to mention competing in the final of the 20. Well, when he competed in a World Cup final. Sorry, it's been a long day, folks. But Edson playing at Celtic, playing at Lazio, the Dutch national team. When the Dutch national team was in the final, just to have the ability to say you played in a World Cup final, to me, is incredible. Started his career at FC Utrecht before moving on to German giants Bayern Munich. He was there between 2009 and 2011, where he played in 12 games, no goals scored. But I'd say in terms of experience in playing on a global platform, it doesn't get any bigger than competing in the World Cup, in particular, a World Cup final. Taking a look at the gentleman wearing a Hoosier Army shirt. Hoosiers, Indiana, my alma mater as well. Had to shout that out. So we've passed the halfway point. Still with the score, 0-0. As that ball comes out of play. Cagliari maintaining. I stand corrected. City Soccer getting possession back. Edson going back to Vera. He did take a spill earlier where he was on his back, but it's good to know that he's on his toes because he's made some tremendous saves in the early moments of this matchup. Seeing fans from Italy in the area. In fact, 25% of the attendees coming in, converging into Cary, North Carolina, have come from out of town. Several of the athletes, of course, from out of town. But several athletes from Carolina. The Raleigh Rebels, for example. Dark Horse. Shot well above the crossbar. But a brilliant effort nonetheless. Just struck a little too aggressively by Andrea Cogoni, who also plays for Cagliari Primavera. They brought a lot of players competing in their youth academy, a lot of U19s. But they have looked solid. As that one gets poked away from Vinciguerra. And so Leonard Osa, wearing the number 12 on City Soccer, opting not to. Well, Cagliari getting the ball back. I was under the impression it would have been the other way around. No sweat there. Shot and a goal! Cagliari Calcio strikes first. Number 21, Nicolo Cavotti, gets the first goal of the game. And Cagliari goes up by a score of 1-0. Nicolo was on loan to Asseria Seaside. As mentioned, part of Cagliari, although he had no caps. But has been part of the Italy U18, U19, and U20 squads.
Cagliari goal scored by number 21, Nicola Cavotti.
So solid start here.
7.5 minutes remaining.
So we're up to 7.5 minutes remaining here within the first half. Cagliari representing first. With the rain letting up a little, starting to see more people come back to the games. At one point earlier on, we didn't have anybody within the stands, as everybody was going for the shelters and hiding underneath the roofs. Because I wasn't exaggerating, it was raining incredibly hard. A lot of these players, of course, accustomed to this type of downfall. On the counter goes Cagliari, the shot. Oh, that one just ding-dongs off the post. Cavotti almost had a shot at a brace just minutes after he scored his first. So on the attack goes Cagliari, and it stays here for a corner. For those in the audience that are unaware of what the term calcio means, that in Italian simply means football or soccer. Soccer, of course, deriving from association football, soccer. That's where that term comes from. So now you learn what Calcio means, and you learn about where soccer came from. Informed, educated, and entertained. At least I hope so. I'd like to think so. I wouldn't be here if I didn't think I could do that. That's my trifecta. Not 6 minutes remaining here within the first half. If you're just joining us now, where have you been? Cagliari scored first, courtesy by a goal from number 21, Niccolò Cavati. Played with the Italy national team on the youth level, on 3 different youth levels. And that's going to be a foul charged to number 6, Andres Osorno. He's played professionally, not only Colombia, but Antigua as well. He took down Nicolas Viola. Viola in his time played 64 games at Cagliari. But now that I say that, I do recall filling you in and when we were talking about the players to watch. Now, Viola, we've seen him, and I have seen him myself score some absolute screamers throughout the course of his career from a fairly similar angle. Let's see if he has it in him right here. The shot. That just goes to the left. And Anderson Vera is going to get ready to put it back into play. Under 5. If you're an entrepreneur and around the area, you want to find a good way to make money, come on down to Wake Med Soccer Park. Start selling some ponchos and some umbrellas. Still got a couple more games to go here. So here's your opportunity to make a buck or two and enjoy some very exciting soccer. This is the final day of the group stages, as we mentioned. 48 teams competing in this tournament. 12 groups of 4. TST has expanded since the start. There were 32 teams a year ago. And I thank the expansion because with more games means more calls and more broadcasters. And I am here, humbled and honored to be a part of this incredible tournament. Cross comes in on the other side of the box, but that comes out of play. City Soccer looking to claw one back as both teams are approaching halftime. Giuseppe Ciocci put it into play. Connecting down, trying to connect down, I should say, to Kingston Mutandwa. But that one comes out of play. 7 games during his time with Cagliari. Also has 1 international cap with Zambia. See Edson Brafid right by me. The man's got legs the size of my hips. Very strong player. Looking forward to seeing some more from him. That one comes in. Oh, that was a close call. So under 3. I tell you all, and I know you see the clock, but as much as I tell you all, I'm telling myself here, because with the rain stopping, the big scoreboards have been turned off. The pass in, over to Viola. Viola gets it stripped away. City Soccer regained possession. They came out to who let the dogs out and are looking to get the dogs out. As the official heading on over to the City Soccer side, and he's got a yellow card in his hand. And so that's going to get issued to, I believe, City Soccer's head coach. I had my eye on the other end of the pitch and wasn't entirely sure what caused the official to go over there and to reach down into his pocket. That's the first yellow card that we've seen thus far. Well, in this game anyway.
Yellow card issued to City Soccer FC head coach Marcelo Castillo.
Yep, and the public address announcer has confirmed it. It does go against City Soccer's head coach. Edson making his run. Official blowing his whistle. Believe he's going to tag Andrea Cogoni for the foul. So that's going to be a free kick opportunity here for Cagliari as we are approaching the 92nd mark. So can City Soccer claw one back? These are two teams that are hungry and eager for a win. Their hopes of moving beyond the group stage very much alive. As that shot barrels directly into Kingstone Mutandwa. Now we're at the 60-second mark. Ball in the box.
1 minute remaining in the first half, fans.
As the official blows the whistle, Cagliari player down on the ground being helped up by Edson. I will say these two teams, a wonderful display of sportsmanship. We saw a lot of fireworks and a lot of tempers flare in the matchup between Trident and Atletico Madrid a couple of games ago. We saw red cards. We saw several yellow cards. Heck, we saw the police separating the two teams at the end. Something I would have never imagined saying in this tournament, but it did happen right on this field. The shot in, just missing. To the left is Joseph Liteta. 29 games with Cagliari's Primavera. That's the U19s. They had 3 caps with the Zambian U17 national team. So this could be the final sequence that we see here before we head into halftime. Corner kick, low. And so foul's going to go against Vinciguerra. And our clock has struck 0. But the official does have the final jurisdiction. And there it is. Just had to put the ball in play. So, folks, we're going to head into halftime. We've got an entertaining one here as Cagliari Calcio currently leads City Soccer by a score of 1-0. We're going to take a break, but don't go anywhere because plenty more action to be had here on Field 4 at the WakeMed Soccer Park here in Cary, North Carolina. Back here for the start of the second half here on Field 4 in this matchup between Cagliari Calcio and City Soccer FC. 1-0 the score. The goal scorer, Nicolo Cavotti, getting the first and only one that we see thus far. A couple of stats for you here. Cagliari 12 shots to City Soccer's 3. They had 8 on target to City Soccer's 1. But it's been a low-scoring one despite the amount of opportunities that Cagliari's had. And we've still got ourselves an entertaining one here on Field 4 and what is going to be the final game in the group stages here. This is Group B. Every team in that group, a 1-1 record. And so this game is of the utmost importance. It's do or die or survive and thrive. $1 million on the line going to the winning team. Not in this game, but at TST. The roller gets booted out of the box. Now, while we have a little time here, as both teams take jabs at one another on the pitch, not literally but figuratively, target score time. That'll happen at the conclusion of this half right here. So the way the target score time goes, and a save by Ciocci, the way that works is the leader, which in this case is Cagliari, you take what they have, you add 1 to it. So if the game were to end right now, the target score would be 2. So the first to 2 would declare the winner of this game. We start 7v7. After 3 minutes, if no result is had, then a player comes off the pitch for each side. We go from 7v7 to 6v6, so on and so forth until a winner is declared. There is a rocket of a shot that goes right into the netting, fired off by number 8, Cesar Quintero. Quintero, another member of City Soccer who's competed in Colombia with Atlético Nacional. He's also competed professionally in Hungary and mainly, though, in Colombia. And so it'll never be any less than 2v2. And we will have a winner. The individual that scores the game winner gets rewarded with a golden fleece, which is a scarf, which gives them lifetime admission to the TST tournament. It'd be nice if it was a fleece because the weather's starting to drop a little and it's getting a little cool, but that fleece, in fact, is a scarf. And I'm sure if you've been sticking around and watching all the games in the TST, then you've seen quite a few golden fleeces get thrown out. Not thrown out, by given out. Should never throw that out, not with what it means. Beautiful pass threaded in, just a little too hot. Recovered by Cagliari. Viola gets it in, counter. Open on the left. The shot just misses. An opportunity that Joseph Liteta would love to have again. So a moment of horror for City Soccer momentarily, but sighs of relief now from the fans that I have standing to the right of me. Hitting the deck is Jeff Mashad. Jeff Mashad playing with the Tampa Bay Rowdies, the Wilmington Hammerheads, Miami FC. Also played with a club in the USL that creates some of the most incredible kits, Forward Madison. Also in the MASL with the Orlando Seawolves. They are no longer a team. The Baltimore Blast. And last I know, the St. Louis Ambush. The shot ricochets. Cagliari back with possession. Starting to see how this pitch is starting to tear itself up. Wish I would have taken a picture to give you a before and after, because before this looked pristine. And of course, with all the games that we've had here, there were 8 yesterday. There'll be another 8 by the time the day is done. It's going to get its wear and tear. But it's really the weather that should be blamed for the condition of the pitch, because it really came down hard. Right before this game, it was monsooning, so to speak, which is why I came out with that Noah's Ark reference. But it has thus far ceased. We did hear earlier on, back in Field 2, don't know what happened there, that it's getting to the point where it was almost unplayable as the ball wasn't really traveling with how soaked the pitch was. But that's not the case here on field 4. So that ball comes out of play. City Soccer regain. So that pass comes in to Ricardo Tapia. Tapia passes into the right. And a shot. Oh, Edson Roughhide with the equalizer. There is a roar of applause here to my right. The Dutch international finds the back of the net, and we are tied at 1-1. Fluid movements, brilliant passing, and we got ourselves a game. Are you entertained? I certainly am and have been throughout the entire time of this tournament. Seen a lot of incredibly close games. One lopsided one earlier between Real Atletico and AFC Bournemouth. It was the first target score that we had where the number 10 was reached. We're not going to see that right now unless either of these teams have an epic collapse. But so much on the line, so much to play for. Both teams looking to advance, as are the Hoosier Army and Cardinal Legacy, as they're going to compete against one another. And so that foul is going to be charged against number 15, Ricardo Tapia. No question about it. You could see the frustration on the face of Cagliari's lone goal scorer, Nicola Cavotti. And that one gets rolled on directly to me. Literally. The shot! Oh, what a save! Giuseppe Ciocci denies. A brilliant opportunity by Dylan Tolero. Dylan played with Inter Miami too for a moment. Also in Brazil with Botafogo. But from my angle, you saw the curve on that. But Ciocci making an incredible save. Thus far, the save of the match. And now he's being tested as momentum starting to swing in favor of City Soccer. Oh, if you're tuning in now, wearing the orange kit with the black shorts. Pass, Meg through, in, and a goal! City Soccer now take the lead. Jeff Mashad wearing number 14. Had it not been for that Meg, Mashad wouldn't have had that clear look. And he scores on that right side, beating Ciocci and City Soccer, their first lead of the match.
City Soccer FC goal scorer, number 14, Jeff Mashad.
Jeff Mashad gets a big one here. Does Cagliari have an answer for City Soccer? Who let the dogs out? Indeed. And I say that because in case you missed it at the top of the broadcast, that's the song that they came out to. Ball is loose. Potential. Oh, off the top of the crossbar. Ding, dong, ring-a-ling-a-ling. Kingston Mutandwa was a nose hair shy of the equalizer, but he goes down on the pitch. Hopefully he is okay. He fires one in, but the official is motioning on over to the bench. The trainer is coming out. And so that's going to give us a break here for a moment. Now that's going to factor in, obviously. We talk about the running clock here, but with a player being injured, that is going to essentially stop the clock. We're seeing Mutandwa on all fours heading towards the end there. Now, with the trainer out there, Mutandwa coming out, we're going to resume play. So, again, hopefully he's okay. Would have been far more okay for himself if he didn't manage to score there. The header coming in, broken up. Liteta. Pass over to Mamadou. Baldi. He also plays for Cagliari Primavera. Now, Como Cagliari last year brought quite a few players from their U20s. And there are quite a few players from their Primavera. And this is a team that looks very mature, very well organized. and very dangerous. They took the first lead of the game by way of a goal from Nicolo Cavotti. But since then, City Soccer has scored 2 unanswered, and that's how we sit on the score 2-1. So free kick opportunity right now for the team based out of Sardinia. In case you're wondering, that's where Cagliari is. The shot off of the feet. City Soccer defender. That is number 18, Roger Cañas. Playing in Medellin. Ball is loose, recovered. Edson making it a tremendous slide tackle. If you're Anderson Vera, you got to buy it around for Edson there, as he absolutely bailed him out with that slide tackle. Not slide tackle on anybody, but the slide in to prevent the goal from going in, because that would have certainly going to hit the back of the net. Pace picking up here as we are under 10 minutes to go here in regulation. 9 minutes and 7 to be precise. I know with the small scoreboard, there are people around here that are wondering where we are in the game.
9 minutes remaining.
If this result stands, the target score will be 3. Shot sails just above. Gravity was not the friend for City Soccer's number 19, who, unbeknownst to me, I do not have rostered on their roster numbers. So I do apologize for that. Oh, contact as 2 players go down. Vinciguerra for Cagliari, but he's back up on his feet quickly, as is Andres Osorno. Yellow card shown to Vinciguerra. Osorno looking at the official, wanting to buy his time. So the official going to help him up. He's holding on to the back of the official's calf muscle.
Yellow card issued against Cagliari on number 20.
So Vinciguerra is going to get charged with the yellow card. 7 minutes, 50 seconds remaining here. Starting to get somewhat of a crowd here. And shout out to everybody who braved the rain.
7.5 minutes remaining.
So 7.5 is the official confirmation. Osorno goes back to Vera, sorry. Elevated high into the air, back over to Osorno, who's wide open on that right side. Shouldered off the ball by Nicolo Grandu. Another member of Cagliari's Primavera, Cagliari's academy. Simbrafide. That pass comes back to him from Cesar Quintero. Quintero played in Colombia. Oh, we already talked about his time in Hungary, playing in Colombia. Cagliari on the City Soccer side of the pitch. Pulls it back into play. Over to Cagliari's keeper, Ciocci. Now, Ciocci had 1 cap with Cagliari's Serie A senior side. Cutting through. The pass in, and the goal! What creativity, what ball movement. And Cagliari is awarded with a goal, the equalizer. And that comes to Kingston Mutandwa, who was momentarily on the other end of the pitch, having gone over there on all fours. But he gets the equalizer. Almost had a goal before, because as he went down, his shot just hit the top of just hit the crossbar, grazed the bottom of it, in fact.
By number 9, Kingston Mutandwa.
Mutandwa puts us back to 2-2, so target score would be 3. If this result holds, that just means the next goal wins for both sides.
Cagliari taking
Back and forth action we have between both sides. The competitive fires, the juices are flowing for both City Soccer and Cagliari. That's Brafide, one of the goal scorers that City Soccer has, goes back to his keeper, Vera. Vera spreading it, going back and forth between him and Osorno. Intercepted. Cagliari does not have the numbers on this drive down the pitch. Cavotti, who already has one to his repertoire here, manages to win the corner. Under 5 remaining. We are deadlocked at 2 apiece. The header comes, not the header, the floater into the box. Picked up by Vera. On the run is City Soccer. Down goes Osa, drawing a foul. And the Cagliari fans up in arms about that call. Substitutions here for City Soccer. As we see number 9 checking back in. Number 9, Dylan Tolero. So Tolero coming in for the free kick. Look to see if he fires in that upper right corner. That one comes off but deflects, nearly bounces off of Alessandro Vinciguerra, but it's going to stay on this end. So another set piece opportunity for City Soccer here. So we're approaching the 3-minute mark. And a yellow card is shown to Jeff Mashad. Jeff Mashad not happy with the official. So Jeff Mashad, just as a reminder, scored a goal as well as Edson Brafide for City Soccer. Ping-ponging back and forth between both sides, but taken away. But now out of play, as Cavotti spun his defender around, but was too close to that touchline. And that ball comes out of play. So no throw-ins, just as a reminder. Currently our target score would be 3. Vera coming well outside of his box. So I'm looking on one end, missed exactly what happened. Not sure if Vera was holding on to it for too long. You got to move the ball up every 8 seconds. So that's a rule. And if I get some confirmation on that, I will let you know. For a split moment, my brain went in hibernate mode. And down goes Vinciguerra, drawing a foul. The fans over at Cagliari wanting to see that tarjeta, that yellow card. So it's going to be a free kick. Vinciguerra showing his displeasement. 90 ticks of the game clock remain. 1:27. 2-2 is the score. Getting closer to target score time. Cavotti from an angle that I would stay still within his ability to score himself. So 1 minute remaining, the official motioning on over to the Cagliari bench. Not sure what the holdup was, as I had my attention paid for on Cavotti. I mean, this is only working against Cagliari here as they are wasting and killing time off the clock. Unlike basketball, allowing the time clock to go down to get the final shot isn't necessarily in your best interests. So the official looking over at the City Soccer defenders, telling them to come back a little more. So we've had about 40 seconds come off the clock. Booted away. Cagliari still has it. Sticking with it. Recovered by Tolero. In. Shot. Oh, upper left, but misses. Clanking off of the woodwork. Might have to repaint that part of the goalpost, because that one certainly took some paint off. So on our clock, we're done. Just waiting for the official to blow the whistle. Will there be some last-second heroics here from Cagliari? Or potentially City Soccer? It's Cagliari here. Cutting in. And that defense stood on its heels because Mutandwa was wide open. I'm just looking over at the official myself to see when he is going to blow his whistle. Oh, on the right, open. Nearly an own goal. Down in the box. And so we're still playing on here. Ball gets put into play. So I've lost track of how much time has gone by, as our game clock well beyond zero at this point. City Soccer. Last second heroic shot saved by Ciocci. Making a run. Vinciguerra. Vinciguerra goes wide to the left. Shirley. So I thank our production staff for telling me it's been 1:30 since our game clock went to zero. Official, of course, having the jurisdiction to blow his whistle to send us to target score time. And that's it, the official blowing his whistle, and that's going to do it for regulation. Folks, we're tied at 2-2, and we're going to head to target score time here. We're going to take a quick break, come back. I'll explain the target score rules once again, and we'll see who walks out of this Group B matchup with a win. Two teams with 1-1 records. Two teams looking to move on to the group stage, out of the group stage, and two teams that are tied at 2-2. Welcome back to Field 4, folks. You are watching Cagliari Calcio taking on City Soccer. 2-2 is the score. The target score is 3, which means next goal wins for both sides. And this is crucial as both teams are 1-1 throughout their group stage matchups. They do share a group with the Hoosier Army and Cardinal Legacy that are also 1-1. So this is going to be an important one. How did we get here? Well, I'll tell you in a second. First, the rules of target score time. We start with 7v7. After 3 minutes, if a winner is not declared, we remove one player from each side, making it 6v6. If a winner is not declared, we go -1 again, all the way up to potentially 2v2. And so that will be how it goes. It never gets any lower than 2v2. So we're underway. Your goal scorers for Cagliari, Kingston Mutandwa and Nicolo Cavotti. Your goal scorers for City Soccer, Edson Brofheid and Jeff Mashad. Into Tolero, shot saved by Chochi. Intercepted. That one comes off the Cagliari defender. That bounces to Mutandwa. And clearing and blocking that lane. There would have been a fast counter and breakaway on that left side. Mashad, who has a goal and a yellow card to his name today. He gets completely bodied off the ball by Joseph Liteta. That was a hip check that would make an NHL player blush. Over to Chochi. So a minute has gone into the target score time, which means that in about 120 seconds we're going to go from this 7v7 to 6v6, unless a goal gets scored here. Chochi going over to Liteta. Liteta, an ambitious attempt. That goes right towards the keeper. So I believe that City Soccer has changed their keeper. That does not look like Anderson Vera. And I can't see the number because he doesn't have it on his shorts. It's number 31. So we do have a goalkeeper change here for City Soccer. And number 31 is rostered as, well, I don't have him on my roster sheet, so forgive me, folks. With 12 groups of 4, almost 800 players, sometimes mistakes happen.
Once again, if you're joining us on field 4, Cagliari taking on City Soccer FC.
Unless he's operating as a sixth attacker. That's also very possible. And once again, I have to tip my cap off to our cat. My cap off. I don't have a cat here. They're at home in Burbank. But Fernando Cortez. Oh, shout out to everybody around me. Thank you to the videographer that is kneeling down directly in front of me, Fernando Cortez. All right. Intercepted by Cagliari. They do have the man advantage. They do have the numbers. Slicing through. And a foul as Joseph Liteta goes down to the ground. A yellow card is shown to City Soccer. Liteta could have gone to his right because number 9, Kingston Mutandwa, was wide open. But the foul on City Soccer has now led to a free kick here. But Mutandwa's going to head on over to his bench. So he comes off. And so Nicolo Cavotti is lining up just outside of the box. We see a sea of orange. And not because of the pretty colors of the sun in the sky. The shot. Rebounds. Cavotti recovers. Cavotti getting by Brofheid, but taken back. On the run goes City Soccer. And holding things up, Matthias Vindengassi. played in Chile for Unión Española, Deportes La Serena, Chilean Giants Colo Colo. A couple players that we've seen here at the TST from Colo Colo. Fernando Cortez exploring his options. And he's holding on to it, looking for Cagliari to come to him. And so all the stalling will do is just get us to a point where there will be less players on the pitch. But if that's part of the strategy, then so be it. Right around the time teams will hit 5v5, often we've seen the keeper come off in lieu of another attacker, just like hockey. You can pull the keeper. So you have to move the ball up every 8 seconds. So Cortez up. Tosorno back over to Cortez. So a little under 2 minutes for two more players come off, one for each respective side. So Cortez advances it. Will City Soccer look to make their push? Back to Cortez. Perhaps taking a page out of Newtown Pride's book. Newtown Pride coached by Anu Obasi. Coach of the Year in the inaugural TST. And we will be seeing him at the conclusion of this game as Newtown looking to take on LCF. And what's going to be the final game here on Field 4. And the final game of the group stages. Cortez stalling, hanging on to it. Leaving Cagliari really with no other options other than sit back and either wait or go out on the attack. Cortez goes backwards. Crowd appearing to get a little restless here. Taken away by Cagliari. An empty net. The shot ding-dongs itself off the left post. Cagliari almost making City Soccer pay for hanging onto the ball on their defensive end of the pitch. So for a split moment, the electricity came back out onto the pitch. And I don't mean that literally, but the excitement. As Fernando Cortez was hanging on to it. And because it ding-donged right off of the post, City Soccer is going to get it back with the way it ricocheted and rolled out. So Brafide goes down, draws the foul. So it will be placed past midfield. We hear Queen playing in the background, hearing Freddie Mercury's voice go, "Are we having a good time?" Can't help but smile anytime I hear that song. Because yes, we are having a good time. Just like Lady Godiva. So 2-2 is the score. The target score is 3. Next goal wins for either side. Back to Cortez. This is a tactic that we have seen utilized by Newtown Pride. And now we're seeing it from City Soccer. As Cortez goes the opposite end of where he's at. So are they going to have a kickabout? Well, we'll see. Back over to Cortez. And so this is what they're going to do in order to bait Nicolo Cavotti to go and chase it. Now, Cavotti almost made City Soccer pay just a moment ago. Cortez. Cavotti now coming up. Tracking back very quickly. And so this is going to be the tactic that we're going to see employed here. Just a friendly kickabout. What I can tell you is it finally stopped raining. About 34 seconds away from the removal of a couple of players. Cagliari will not get baited into attacking. Cortez right in the midfield. The official, not sure if that whistle that I heard was, no, it wasn't on here, but it seemed darn close to being here. So while City Soccer is going to go back and forth, again, we're going to talk about how Mother Nature has torrentially downpoured on us. And now she has regressed, giving us a reprieve, giving us a break. So tomorrow, we've been told that the weather's going to be a bit better with a high of 87. That's a splendid thing. I'm wearing my rubber duck ensemble today, and I'm not exaggerating. I got my pineapples with the sunglasses ready for tomorrow. The thing that I've learned in my time here at the TST in North Carolina is if you don't like the weather, wait about 10 or so minutes. Not characteristic, but the state was really being engulfed with a lot of rain. So the keeper comes off now, so we have an extra attacker in for City Soccer. City Soccer looking to now make their attack. Vingassi is trying to get a read on who's wearing the penny for that extra attacker for City Soccer. The pink on orange makes it a bit difficult to read through. I think it's Andres Osorno. I think I see the number 6, although my eyes can deceive me. So I'm being told it's Cesar Quintero if it is number 8. He's weighing in his options, going to his left to Vingassi. Back over to Quintero. Coming up and attacking is Cagliari, which clears some space, opening things up for City Soccer. The official blows his whistle. And so another player is going to be removed for each side. Not sure about you, but it feels like that was a long time awaiting for this to happen. But we are enjoying ourselves here. Both teams eager for a victory. So 4v4 now. Keeper off for City Soccer. The extra attacker is on. Official getting ready to blow his whistle as Jeff Mashad has it just off and outside of the box. Jeff Mashad, who already has 1 goal today. Him and Edson Brafad, the goal scorers for City Soccer. For Cagliari, Kingston Mutandwa, Nicolo Cavotti. Mashad opts not to go for the shot. and passes it to Vindingasi. Starting to hear the Boo Birds come out for the first time here at TST, at least on field 4. I heard the Boo Birds come out for Newtown Pride just the other day when they beat Boca Dallas. We'll see if they come back out in the final game here after this, as LCF is going to take on Newtown. Threaded through. City Soccer was in the box for the first time in what seemed like forever. Now, this is a tactic, whether you love it or you hate it. What people love about this tournament is the speed. But ultimately, what matters is the fact that there's money on the line. Obviously, we want to be entertained, but coaches and players also want to get paid. There's $1 million on the line, folks. And in order to get that, these teams are going to have to come out of the group stages. And with every team in this group, 1-1 record, although I haven't checked in on the result of Hoosier Army and Cardinal Legacy. In fact, I'm actually not quite sure if they've come on. But this one will be a big one, determining who could potentially move through. So we're 4v4. We saw a 2v2 game here earlier. Bumpy Pitch was victorious, pulling their keeper and utilizing Charlie Gonzalez as that extra attacker, and he got the game winner. So we've gotten confirmation that Hoosier Army and Cardinal Legacy are also tied going into target score time. So got a lot of dramatics here in this group stage between the 4 teams that are very much alive and in it to win it. There's a golden fleece on the line. There's a win on the line. Eventually down the road, money on the line. But in order to get to that pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, someone's going to have to come out with a victory. The Cagliari fans to my left getting restless. They're not loving this. And the City Soccer fans holding on to their breath, holding on to their finals. Opportunity here, potentially saved. Cagliari coming up massively defensively. Massively defensively. Be a great name for a band. Pass to Matthias Vindingasi. Vindingasi is going to hold on to it in the midfield. Going to slowly bring it up and slowly bring it back. Over to Quintero. Back to Vindingasi. Back over to Quintero. Kickabout continuing as we're getting closer and closer. To the removal of a couple more players. And we saw Cavotti showing a moment of frustration there as he pushed back on Vindingasi. Everybody clutching onto their pearls, fists clenched, eyes locked in on Vindingasi. Out attacking was Andrea Cogoni. So Cogoni, Cagliari not necessarily knowing what to do with themselves at this point. One thing's for sure, fatigue should not play a factor, as everybody on the pitch right now has gotten a substantial break from the action. Vindingasi taking his time, taking his time. This is the first time I've seen City Soccer play in this tournament. Not sure if this is a tactic that they utilized in their previous matches. Videngasi to his right, has it just outside of the box. Will this be when lightning strikes? Figuratively and not literally, as we did have a 20% chance earlier in the day. And that comes back towards the midfield as Videngasi now going to go for a stroll with the miter ball. So it's been quite some time since we've been able to see players come off. So, scratching my head here along with the rest of you. We're at 4v4. 3 orange kits and 1 with a pink penny. At some point, the official is going to look to the bench to remove a player from each team, as we've been at 4v4 for a significant amount of time. Shot fired and the goal! So the tactic worked. City Soccer with the win in target score time. Number 8, Cesar Quintero, wearing that attacker kit, gets the game winner and the golden fleece for unlimited pass to the TST and the TBT. So the tactic worked, flustered and frustrated Cagliari, and City Soccer is going to walk off this pitch victorious. Folks, we've got one more game to go here on Field 4 as LCF is going to take on Newtown Pride. We're going to take a quick break. I'm going to take a quick break. Y'all should run to the fridge and grab yourself something fun and come on back as we have one more here on Field 4. The winners once again, City Soccer, the Golden Fleece, Cesar Quintero.